Automatic Addison.
Welcome back, everybody. In this tutorial, we will cover the top 50 most popular Linux commands that every roboticist should know. When you work on robotics projects, you will use the Linux terminal all the time. Learning these essential 50 commands will help you work more efficiently. Please follow along and try the commands in your own Linux environment. Feel free to pause the video when you need to, and have fun experimenting. Don't worry about memorizing these commands. Eventually, you will know these commands by heart after you use them again and again throughout your robotics career. Let's begin with the first command. Start by opening a new terminal window. The first command we'll cover is whoami. This simple command tells you the username of the currently logged in user. I'm going to type who, W-H-O-A-M-I. Press enter. You can see the currently logged in user is Ubuntu. Now type the clear command to clear out the terminal. The next command we'll cover is cd, which stands for change directory. This command allows you to navigate the file system by changing your current working directory. To use cd, type cd followed by the path of the directory you want to navigate to. Then press enter. For example, to navigate to the downloads directory in your home folder, you type cd space and then downloads. So I typed capital D and I pressed the tab button to do auto completion. We also could have just done cd space capital D O W N L O A D S and then enter. And you can see we are currently in the downloads directory. If you want to go back to the folder above where you are now, you can use two dots like this. Type cd space ... This goes back to the parent directory of the folder that you were previously in. So in this case, we were in the downloads folder. We did cd downloads, and then we did cd ... to move to where we just were, which is the parent folder of the downloads directory. This takes you up one level. So cd ... takes you up one level of folders. Now, if you want to go to your ROS2 workspace, this is assuming you did my previous tutorial, you would type cd space tilde / little lowercase r and then press the tab to do auto completion and press enter. And now we are in our ROS2 workspace. Remember, the tilde symbol, this cool little looking symbol right there, which you're probably familiar with if you've spoken Spanish or had any kind of experience with the Spanish language, you'll see that tilde symbol all over the place. That tilde symbol is a shortcut that means my home folder. Now let's use cd to move to the documents folder. Type cd space tilde / documents, DOC, and then autocomplete by pressing the tab button on your keyboard and press enter. Now we are in the documents folder. Okay, that's enough of cd. Let's clear out the terminal and let's move to our next command. We are going to use the mkdir command. The mkdir command is used to create new directories in the file system. It stands for make directory. To create a new directory, type mkdir. So do mkdir space and then type the name of the directory that you want to create. In this case, I'm going to create a directory named Linux tutorial, LINUS _ and then tutorial, TUTORIAL, enter. Let's see if we just created it. You can see your new directory you just created by typing the dir command, dir. And we see our new Linux tutorial folder. You can also create multiple directories at once by specifying multiple names separated by spaces, like this. Mkdir, folder 1, folder 2, folder 3. Enter. Let's check them out. Dir. And you can see now we have our Linux folder, which we created earlier, and our 3 folders we just created. Folder 1, folder 2, folder 3. Moving to our next command, the remove rf command is used to delete directories. To remove a directory, type rm space -rf followed by the name of the directory you want to remove. For example, let's remove folder 3 that we just created. You do rm space -rf space folder 3. Enter. Let's see if we deleted it. Yes, we did. Now you can see we only have 2 folders there, folder 1 and folder 2, as well as our Linux tutorial folder we created earlier. Clear it out. Next command is the touch command. The touch command is used to create empty files in the file system. It can be used to update the timestamp of existing files without modifying their contents. To create a new empty file, type touch followed by the name you want to give the file, including the desired extension, then press enter. For example, to create an empty text file named newfile.txt, you would type cd. Let's go to our Linux tutorial folder. Let's clear that out. And let's create our new file using the touch command. We do touch space and then new underscore file dot txt. Let's check it out. And you can see we just created a new file called new file.txt. In fact, you can create multiple empty files at once by specifying the multiple names separated by spaces, just like this. Let's check it out right here. Let's create some new files. Create 3 new files, all called file and then number.txt. So we're going to do touch, file1.txt, file2.txt, and file3.txt. And press enter. Let's check it out. And you can see there are 3 files in their glory. File 1, file 2, file 3, all brand new text files. Moving to the next command, let's clear it out. So how do we edit text files? Well, when working with text files in Linux, you can use command line text editors like Nano, or you can use graphical text editors like gedit. To open a file with Nano, type Nano followed by the file name, then press enter. For example, to open a file named example.txt, you would write nano and then example. Let's call it example1, example1.txt. All right, and you can see right now we are in our new text file called example1.txt. Notice that if the file doesn't exist, Nano will create a new empty file with that name that you select. You can type your text and use keyboard shortcuts like Control-O to save and Control-X to exit. So let's type hello world, okay? And to save, you can see we need to do Control-O to write out. So Control and then O, and then we press enter, and that saves using Nano. All right, and to exit, we do, you can see down here, the command right there, we do Control X. So hold down the control button and press X to exit. Now we've exited. Let's clear our terminal. Now, let's check out the graphical text editor called gedit. To open a file with gedit, you type gedit followed by the file name. But first, you need to make sure that gedit is installed. So let's just check that it is installed. We're going to do sudo apt-get install gedit. Type our password. And it's already installed. And let's open a new file using gedit called example2.txt. So gedit space example2.txt. TXT stands for text. That's a text file. And here we go. Example2.txt. And we can type whatever we want inside of it. This is a brand new text file. Let's type hello world. Type save or click save. Okay. And then exit out. And that's how you save. We just closed it, and that is gedit. Let's clear it out. Moving to our next command, we are going to use ls command. The ls command is used to list the contents of a directory. It stands for list. To list the files and directories in your current location, simply type ls and press enter. This will display a plain listing of the names. Let's type it now, ls enter. And you can see all of the files that we just created. And you're familiar with this next command because we already used it earlier. The dir command is similar to ls, but provides a slightly different output format. So type dir, and we can also see there our files, the text files we created earlier. So there you go. That's how you list the files in your current directory, ls and dir. Now let's create a bash script. What is a bash script? Bash script. Bash scripts are files containing a series of commands that can be executed together. To create a bash script, start by opening a new file in a text editor like Nano or Gedit, and then begin the script with the shebang line. The shebang line looks like this. It's pound this /bin /bash. It looks like that, but we're going to do it in just a second here. So to create the bash script, you need to type gedit, G-E-D-I-T, and then let's type the name of the bash script. It's basic_bash script_example.sh. And that bash script, we end them in .sh. So .sh is what you put at the end of your bash script. We could have named it anything, but make sure you have that .sh. And now press enter. And now let's start with that shebang line. Put that on the first line there, pound, and then the exclamation point, and then the /, and then bin/bash. And that's how you begin the bash script. That's how your computer recognizes, oh, this is a bash script. I see the pound, the exclamation point, /bin/bash. This must be a bash script. And now on the second line, let's do echo, and then double quotes, and then we will type hello, automatic Addison, exclamation point, and then double quotes. All right, and then let's type ls, list, and then space, and then hyphen, and then l. And what will happen is when we run this bash script, those commands that we would type one at a time in the terminal window will automatically execute when you run the bash script. So line 2 will run, and then line 3 will run, just as if you were to type them in manually into the terminal window. Let's save the file. Click save, and then close gedit. Let's see our new bash script. We can see it right over here. All right, and so that we can run the script, we need to make it executable using the chmod command with the +x option. So how do we do that? Do chmod space +x space, and then BA, and then use the tab key to do autocomplete and press enter. And that makes sure that the computer can actually run the script. We made it executable, so you can execute it. Now you can run your script by typing bash, B-A-S-H, and then basic, and then enter. And you can see the output. Hello, automatic Addison, and then we listed the files using the ls space -l, listed the files in the current directory. So that is really cool. That is really cool because you can run multiple terminal commands in a single script automatically using that bash script. Pretty cool. Also, I should mention another way to run that bash script. Rather than doing bash, let's do the up button to get the previous command, bash basic script. We ran it just like this, but we could have also done this. The period right here, /, and then basic. And it does the exact same thing. You can see right there. There you go, the bash script. Let's clear out. The chmod command is used to change the permissions of files and directories. It stands for change mode. Permissions specify who can read, write, and execute a file. They are represented by a combination of letters, R for read, W for write, X for execute, for each of the 3 user classes, owner, group, and others. To see the permissions, create a file now. Type touch, chmod _example.txt. Okay, it's this file right here. Now let's clear and let's type ls space -la so we can see the read and write permissions of our file on this line. And we have RW, which means read and write. Read and write permissions for this particular file. Now, to change the permissions, you use chmod followed by the desired permission settings and the file name. For example, to give everyone read, write, and execute permissions, execute with the X, you would type chmod space 777, which is the code that you type, and then chmod _example.txt. And now let's do ls space -la, and you can now see that our chmod example, now our current user, remember we're Ubuntu, we have read, write, and execute permissions on this particular text file. Obviously, we're not going to execute this because this is a text file, but I'm showing you an example here of how you can change the different permissions, file permissions, and access permissions on a particular file. And so by doing the 777, we make sure that this file has full permissions. So we can do anything with it, read, write, and execute. Let's clear that out. Now let's move on to the next command, the bashrc file. Let's check it out. The bashrc file is a script that is executed whenever you open a new terminal window. It is located in your home directory, and it is used to set up your environment, define aliases, and to set environment variables. To edit your bashrc file, you can use any text editor. I prefer to use gedit because I like the graphical user interface, and we will type gedit, GEDIT, space, the tilde symbol, and then / and then .bashrc. And you can see the bashrc file in all its glory. Let's expand that out here. And this is a bunch of different commands that will run anytime you open up a new terminal window. So you remember from a previous tutorial, we added this line right here. And what this does is it makes sure that your current bash session, your terminal session, recognizes the ROS2 workspace. And it runs that bash script right here so that we can recognize that we can do ROS2-like stuff because we're in our ROS2 workspace. So that's the bashrc file. Let's clear. Moving to the next command, we are going to create command aliases with the alias command. An alias is a shortcut that you can use to run a command or a series of commands. You can define aliases in your bashrc file, so they are available every time you open a new terminal window. To create an alias, you use the alias command followed by the name of the alias and the command you want to run, or commands, plural. Let's say you want to create a quick command to build a ROS2 workspace. Open this now, gedit, space, tilde, /bashrc. Okay. So let's write this at the bottom to create an alias called build, which will automatically change directories to the ROS2 workspace, run colcon build. Colcon build is the way you build a ROS2 workspace, as shown in previous tutorial. And then you have to source the bashrc file so that the bash session recognizes the changes that you made to your source code. So let's do that now. So let's type alias and then space build equals single quotes. And let's type the commands, one right after another. So cd space tilde /ROS2 underscore ws / then the ampersands, and then colcon build space 2 ampersands space source, and then tilde /bashrc, and then single quote. So it's alias build equals single quote cd space tilde symbol /ROS2 underscore ws / space 2 ampersands space colcon space build, and then space, and then 2 ampersands, and then space, and then source, and then space, and then tilde /bashrc, and then close everything out with a single quote. Now click save, close. All right. And now, so that our terminal session can register what we just made to our bashrc file, we first need to source it. So source space tilde /bashrc. Okay, now anytime you type build, you will build your ROS2 workspace because we've created a shortcut for it. And that's what an alias does. build. And there we go. We just built colcon build successful. We just built our workspace. Pretty cool, huh? You just created your first alias. Okay, let's clear. We are going to set environment variables using export. Environment variables are variables that are available to all the processes running in a terminal window. You can set environment variables in your bashrc file so they are available every time you start a new terminal window. To set an environment variable, use the export command followed by the name of the variable and its value. For example, to set an environment variable called my_var to the value 8, you can add the following line to your bashrc file. Do gedit space tilde /bashrc, and add this at the bottom of your file. We're going to export export space capital M Y the underscore symbol and then var equals 8, and then save. All right. Make this a little bigger so you can see it. Font. Change this to a little bigger so you can see it in here. 20. Okay. So let's scroll down. And now you can see export myvar equals 8. So save the file and close it. So now open a terminal window. Let's open a new terminal window here. and type echo space $ capital MY underscore VAR. And here you can see 8, which is the new value that we put. All right. Let's clear that out. So we are going to move now to the clear command, and you've been using that a lot. And just to repeat, the clear command is used to clear the terminal screen. And then it moves the prompt to the top of the screen. So anytime you want to just clear all the gobbledygook out of your terminal window, you are going to click on a terminal window and type clear. That's it, clear. And then your cursor will go up right to the top there of your terminal session. Let's close this. Let's clear this out now. And let's move to our next command. Okay, and this is exploring options with intro to options. So most Linux commands have options that modify their behavior. Options are specified by a dash or a double dash, followed by a letter or a word. For example, to see the help information for the ls command, you can use this command, ls space double, and then help. And there you can see all of the different options. Alternatively, to see the command's manual, you can type man space ls. All right, and here you can see the manual for the ls command. And now type Q for quit. Now, sometimes you want to see what current directory you are in. What's the present working directory? And to do that, you use the pwd command. Pwd is used to print the current working directory, the directory you're currently in. To use this command, simply type pwd, and then press enter. And we can see we are in the home, Ubuntu, ROS2 workspace. Now press clear. All right, so now let's move to our next command, the rm command to remove files. The rm command is used to remove files. To remove a file, type rm followed by the name of the file you want to remove. For example, to remove the chmod example.txt file we created earlier, you first need to move to the CD, Documents, and then Linux tutorial folder. And you see this file right here? I want to get rid of it. Chmod example.txt. So we're going to type rm space and then ch and then the tab button for autocomplete and press enter. Let's see if it's gone. Gone. All gone. And that's where you go, the rm command. So to remove a folder, you do rm and then space and then -rf, which is recursive force command. So let's try that command right now. Let's clear. Let's do a dir. You can see all that's in there. Let's create a new directory that we can later delete. So make dir space remove underscore test. We can see the remove test folder in all its glory, and now let's remove it. Actually, first, let's see if we can remove it like this. Remove test. You see, you cannot remove it just doing rm and then the name of the directory because it's a directory, not a file. So instead, we have to do rm space and then -rf and then remove.test. And then dir, and then voila, our directory is gone. Let's clear. Let's move to the next command called the open command. And the open command is used to open files or directories with the default application associated with that file type. To open a file or directory, type open followed by the name or path of the file or directory you want to open. For example, to do open, and then space, and then tilde, and then ROS2 underscore WS. Enter. And you can see we just opened our ROS2 workspace using the default application. In this case, it's the File Explorer. X that out. Now type clear. The mv command, M as in Mary and V as in Victory, move command, is used to move files and directories from one location to another. It can also be used to rename files and directories. To move a file, type mv followed by the name of the file you want to move and the destination directory. For example, to move a file called newfile.txt to the downloads directory, you would do this. So let's go here. We've got newfile.txt. All right. And I want to move this file to the downloads directory. Okay, so to do that, we need to do mv, the name of the file, and then the destination directory, in this case, tilde / downloads. Enter. All right. And now we need to see if it's been moved, and it's no longer there. Newfile.txt is no longer there. So let's go to cd space tilde / downloads. And voila, we can see it right there. Newfile.txt. Let's go back to the Documents Linux tutorial folder, cd tilde / documents, and then Linux tutorial. All right, let's clear all that gobbledygook out of the way. Now, to rename a file, we type mv followed by the current file name, followed by the new file name. For example, to rename oldname.txt to newname.txt, we do this. Let's first create our file, touch old_name.txt. We can see it right there, oldname.txt. And now let's rename it. So move oldname.txt, and then I'm going to type new name.txt. And you can see we no longer have our old name.txt, and we now have new name.txt. We just successfully renamed it. Let's continue here with the next command. Let's clear everything out. And we will work with the copying command for copying files or directories. The cp command is used to do that. So cp command is used to copy files and directories from one location to another. To copy a file, type cp followed by the name of the file you want to copy and the destination directory. For example, to copy a file called copy example.txt to the downloads directory, let's create this touch copy _example.txt. All right, and we want to copy that to the downloads directory. We do cp copy and then tilde / downloads. Okay, and now let's check to see it's in there by doing open space tilde / downloads. Open space, I misspelled downloads, / downloads. Downloads. Okay, and we can now see, there it is, right there, copy example.txt. So that's how you copy from one area to another. Let's clear everything out and know how. So we just copied a file, but how do we copy an entire directory and its contents? And to that, we have to use the recursive option, which is -r. So let's do that now. Let's make a fresh directory called mkdir space my _cp _ directory. Okay, and we have it right here, my CP directory, and let's copy space and then the recursive option. So that's hyphen lowercase r and then my and then the directory name, and then let's copy that to download. So tilde / downloads. Enter. So now we just copied it. Let's open the downloads folder again. Let's do open tilde / downloads. And we can see that we just copied our directory successfully to the downloads folder right there. X out. Moving to the next command, the head command, which is used to preview the beginning of files. The head command is used to display the first few lines of a file. To preview the beginning of a file, type head, H-E-A-D, followed by the name of the file. For example, to display the first 10 lines of a file called head example.txt, let's create that file. Let's do gedit head _ example.txt. All right, and you see that right there. And let's type some stuff, okay? Pound, this is automatic Addison. Keep building. I am liking this tutorial on Linux. What more do you want from me other than learning Linux today? And let's do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, enter, and let's save. Okay. So now let's take a look at it. Let's get a preview. We'll do head and head example.txt. And you can see right here, we've got our preview of the file. And let's just display the first 5 lines. So let's do head, space, and then the N flag right there. So hyphen N, and then 5, and then head. And you can see we just have the first lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just the first 5 lines right there. That's how you do it. That is the head. Now there is a similar command to display the last few lines of a file called the tail command. So tail and then head. And you can see right here, looking at the end of the file. And just to display the last 5 lines of the file, we can do tail and then space and then the hyphen in and then head example.txt. Oh, I didn't type the number. Let's do tail in and then let's display the last 3 lines and then head. So tail, space, hyphen in, space, 3, and then head example.txt. All right, and you can see the last 3 lines. We have 10, 11, and then a blank line right there. There you go. We also could have done tail, space, hyphen in, and then display the last 5 lines like that. 8, 9, 10, 11, and then blank line, just like that. Now let's clear it out and move on to the next command. How do we display the current date and time in Ubuntu in the terminal window? So that's where the date command comes into play. And the date command is used to display the current date and time. Type date, D-A-T-E. There we go, January 19th. And we have the year right there, 2025, and current time. So the output will show you the current date and time in the default format, but you can customize the output format using format specifiers. For example, to display the date in the format year, month, and date, you type this, D-A-T-E, space, the plus symbol, double quote, %y, hyphen, %m, hyphen, %, D, double quote. There we go. Nice and clean. 2025-01-19. Nice, clean year, month, date format. Let's clear. So let's refer to the date commands manual page. And you remember how to do that? Use the man command. And this gets us more information on the available format specifiers for date. So do man and then date. This gets us the manual, which you can scroll through and check out the different options that you have right here for the date command. I find it a little confusing, but you can go through it on your own free time. You can see all the different options you have, and there are a lot right there. So to get out of that, press Q for quit and clear. In Linux, you can redirect the output of a command to a file instead of displaying it in the terminal window. This is done using the arrow operator. I'm going to show you that in a second. Now, to redirect the output of a command to a file, you type the command followed by the arrow, and the name of the file. For example, to redirect the output of the ls command to a file called directory contents.txt, we do ls and then arrow and then directory underscore contents.txt. And what this will do is the output of this ls command list will redirect to the directory contents.txt file. Now, if the file doesn't exist, like in the case right now, it will be created. If the file already exists, its contents will be overwritten. And let's press enter right now. And let's take a look at gedit directory contents. And we can see right here, all the contents of that output of the ls command were redirected into our directory contents.txt file. Close it out and press clear. Now, to append the output to an existing file, instead of overwriting it, you use double arrows. So we will do this, ls, double arrow, and then directory contents. Enter. Let's check it out. Get it. And we just appended the output again to the end of our previous directory.contents.txt file. So let's clear it out right there. Now moving to the next command, concatenating and displaying files with cat. So the cat command is used to concatenate and display the contents of files. To display the contents of a single file, type cat, as in the animal, followed by the name of the file. So let's do that right now, cat directory contents, and we can see all the contents of the file. It's a really quick way to check out what's in a file. You just type cat followed by the name of the file. I really like using this command because you don't need to open up Nano or Gedit, and that's how you do that. Clear it out. Let's move to the less command. The less command allows you to view the contents of a text file one page at a time. Less is particularly useful for viewing large files that don't fit on a single screen. So let's do that now. Less, L-E-S-S, head example.txt, enter, and there you go. So once you're in less, you can navigate through the file using various keyboard shortcuts. So you can do the space bar to go to the next page. You could do B to go back one page. And you could do Q right here to quit and return to the terminal. Now let's clear. You've used the echo command before, but let's look at it again. This is used to display text or the value of variables in the terminal. To display a simple message, type echo followed by the text you want to display. For example, let's type this, echo space, and then double quote, I am automatic Addison, and then double quote to close it out, enter. I am automatic Addison is printed to your terminal window. You can also use the echo command to display the value of environment variables. For example, to display the value of the ROS distro variable, you do echo space $symbol and then ROS underscore and then distro. Jazzy, jazzy. And there you go. That is the echo command. Let's clear that out. So let's take a look now at the wc command. The wc command is used to count the number of words, lines, and characters in a file. Wc head example.txt. We can see that we have 12 lines, 13 words, 161 characters in that order. That is the wc command. Now let's clear. Moving to next command, the pipe symbol. So in Linux, you can connect multiple commands together using pipes, and I'm going to show you what that is in just a second. The output of one command becomes the input of the next command. To use pipes, type the first command followed by the pipe symbol, then type the next command. For example, to count the number of files in a directory, type ls space the pipe symbol space wc space and then -l. We see 11. So in this example, the output of the ls command, which is the list of files, is piped to the wc command, which counts the number of lines. And you can see 11 is what your output should be. Now let's clear. Moving to the next command, we have the sort command, S-O-R-T. The sort command is used to sort lines of text alphabetically or numerically. To sort the contents of a file, type sort followed by the name of the file. For example, to sort the lines in a file called head example.txt, you would type sort head example.txt, and you can see we just sorted it right there. This output shows the sorted lines of the file. You can also sort in reverse order. So let's do that now. Sort space and then -r and then head example. Reverse order. Note that this sort command will not change the actual file. It would just display the sorted output in the terminal window. Let us clear. Now let's perform a shell expansion. Shell expansions are a feature that modify the way the shell interprets and executes commands. Suppose you need to quickly create directories for 3 different projects, each named for the current year. Let's do that now. Mkdir space -p space P ROJECT underscore open bracket and then A B C and then close brackets, and then we're going to do underscore and then the $symbol and then open parentheses and then date and then space and then the plus symbol and then the percentage symbol and then capital Y and then close parentheses. All right, and let's see what we got in there now. You can see we have project A 2025, project B 2025, and project C 2025. All right, so the A, B, and C in the brackets in that command right here expands to create 3 strings, A, B, and C. And then this date piece right here executes the date command to fetch the current year, 2025, replacing it in the command. Shell expansions. There you go. Let's clear everything out. When working on projects that involve different versions of files, especially in a collaborative environment, it's essential to track and understand changes between different file versions. The diff command allows you to compare 2 files line by line and outputs the differences between them. Let's create a copy of our head example.txt file. So cp, you remember how to do that, and then head example, let's call it copy.txt. So head underscore example underscore copy.txt plus enter, and let's open up that new file, example copy.txt. And there you go. You just made a copy of it. And let's modify one of the lines in the file and then save it. So I'm going to create a new line that says keep building, exclamation mark, and then save. All right. So now let's do the diff. That's diff, first file, and then the copied file, which we just modified. Head example copy.txt. And you can see the differences right there. The difference is we added keep building to our head example copy.txt. So this command, this diff command, displays the lines that differ between the two files, along with symbols, this symbol right here, which indicates whether the lines are added, deleted, or changed. So lines that are prefixed with a arrow that's facing toward the left indicate content that's present in the first file, but not in the second. And lines that are prefixed with the arrow pointing to the right show content that is in the second file, but not in the first. All right. So there you go, right there. Pretty cool, huh? So let's clear everything out. Now moving to the next command, the find command. The find command is used to search for files and directories based on various search criteria, such as name, size, or modification time. To search for a file by name, type find, followed by the directory to search in, and the -iname option with the file name pattern. For example, to search for a file named head example copy.txt in the documents directory and its subdirectories, we are going to move to the documents folder by doing cd:/documents. Now we are in the parent folder here, you can see. And now let's use the find command. So we're going to do find dot and then space and then hyphen and an iname. All right. And then we're going to do head example copy.txt double quote. And there we go. So to find a folder named folder 1 in the current directory or its subdirectories, you can use the find command with a slight modification. So find space dot space hyphen type D and then hyphen iname, and we are trying to search for folder 1. So folder 1 double quote, enter. All right, and that lines up with what we thought it would. So that's the find command. Now let's clear everything out. Now, moving on to the grep command. The grep command is used to search for specific text patterns within files. To search for a text pattern in a file, type grep, followed by the pattern and the file name. For example, to search for the word example in a file named grep example.txt, let's do that now. Let's do cd. Let's go into our Linux tutorial folder. Let's clear, and let's create this new file, echo. This is an example line, period, double quote, and let's output that to a new text file called grep example.txt. So echo, this is an example line, and then output goes to grep example.txt, enter. Let's do a cat so we can see the contents of this new file. This is an example line. So it's just a text file that we just created that has one line called this is an example line. And let's now add another line. So echo, and we're going to do another line here, period. And let's append to our current file, grep underscore example.txt. Let's do cat so we can see the contents. And now we've got two lines. This is an example line. And then our second line, another line here. Let's add one more line. Echo one more example, period, double quote, grep example.txt, cat. So now we have three lines right there. Now let's clear everything out. Now let's search for some text. So we'll do grep I double quote example. That's the text I want to search for. And let's search in this file called grep example.txt. And you can see it's pretty cool here. Our search term is example. We're searching in the grep example.txt and we get the output. And we do see that the word example, the string example, is in fact in the file, in the grep example.txt file twice. This is an example line, one more example. So that is really neat. So you can see the lines in the file that contain this search word, and that is grep. You're going to use that a lot. Let's clear everything out. So how do we estimate the file space usage? We use a command called do, D-U. D as in dog, and then U as in United States. So the do command is used to estimate the disk space used by files and directories. To display the disk space used by a specific file or directory, type do followed by the file or directory name. For example, let's type this: do space -h tilde / ROS 2 workspace. And we can see how much space each of these files are using. The total disk space right there: 400 kilobytes, 20 kilobytes, 44 kilobytes. Now let's clear. Moving to the next command, the df command. Df command is used to display information about the disk space usage of file systems. To display the disk space usage of all mounted file systems, simply type df space and then -h. There you go. You can see our big boy right there. This is the main file system right there. And we are using 16 gigabytes, a total of 49 gigabytes, which we set up in the very first tutorial when we were installing Ubuntu 24 on our virtual machine. We set it to 50. It's not quite 50, but it's 49. It's just the way the computer system works. And you can see we're using 16 gigabytes. So we've got quite a bit of space left. We're only using 33%. We've got 32 gigabytes available. Now let's clear. Now to view the command history, how can we see the commands that we've typed previously? The history command is used to display a list of previously executed commands in the current shell session. To view the command history, type history, history, and you can see all of the commands that we've been typing all the way back. Get a complete history of that. Now let's clear. Moving to the PS command, displaying the process status using PS, P as in Paul and S as in Sam. The PS command is used to display information about running processes. To display the processes associated with the current shell session, type PS, PS. The output will show the process ID, PID, process ID, terminal, CPU time, and the command name for each process. To display all processes running on the system, we use the E option. So let's do that now. PS space hyphen and then E. That's all processes. There you have it. Let's clear it out. Let's see how to display the system resource usage using the top command. The top command is used to display real-time information about system resource usage and running processes. To start top, simply type top, T-O-P. And there you can see the system resource usage right there in the terminal window. Now to quit, press Q. And let's press clear. And let's type top again. And to sort the process by memory usage, you type capital M, shift, and then the M key. M as in Mary. And there you can see the processes sorted by memory usage. And now press Q. Let's run it again. All right, let's type shift and then press P. And what this does is it sorts the processes by CPU usage. Now we can do shift M, memory usage, and Q for quit. And there you go. There is the top command. Let's clear out the terminal window. Moving to the next command, we have the kill command. The kill command is used to send a signal to a process, typically to terminate it, while the killall command is used to send a signal to all processes with a specified name. To terminate a process with kill, type kill followed by the process ID. For example, to terminate a process with PID 1234, you would do kill and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And how do you get the process ID again? You type top right there, and you can see over here on the left, PID, the process ID. Remember, Control M to sort by memory usage, and Control P to sort by CPU usage. All right, let's quit by pressing Q. Clear it out. And now, to terminate all processes with a specific name using killall, type killall followed by the process name. For example, to terminate all processes named Firefox, you first, let's click Firefox. Actually, let's start it from the terminal so you can really see it in action. Let's go over here to the first terminal. Let's type Firefox. Launching it. You can see Firefox is loaded. There you go. And now let's kill Firefox. So let's go into another terminal. Let's do kill all Firefox. All right. Did it stop? Yep. Terminated right there. Firefox is no longer loaded. That is the kill all command. Let's clear. How do we display background processes? Well, we do that with the jobs command. The jobs command is used to display a list of background processes started by the current shell session, while the BG and FG commands are used to manage these processes. To start a process in the background, you append an ampersand to the end of the command. For example, let's start the sleep command as a background process. So you would do the command and the ampersand, but let's start the sleep as a background process. So we'll type sleep command and then 100 and then the ampersand. All right, so we now have that background process running called sleep 100. To list the background processes, type jobs, J-O-B-S, and we can see our background process is currently running. Each process will be displayed with the job number and its status. You can see it is currently running. All right, so now moving on. To bring a background process to the foreground, you type FG followed by the job number. For example, to bring job 1 to the foreground, you do FG space, the percent symbol, and then 1. Okay, so now you can see we have our foreground process, sleep 100. We've brought it from the background to the foreground. Now, to send a foreground process to the background, press Control Z, Z as in zebra, to suspend it. Then type BG to resume it in the background. There we go. All right. So now let's clear and let's move on. The gzip command is used to compress files to reduce their size. To compress a file, type gzip followed by the file name. For example, to compress a file named grep example.txt, let's do this. Let me close this terminal first. Okay, so let's do touch grep underscore example.txt. All right. And let's do gzip grep underscore example.txt. All right. And let's type dir. And there she is. The compressed file has the extension gz in all its glory. And there it is. All right. Just compressed a file. Let's clear that out. Now, how do we decompress files that were compressed with gzip, undoing what we just created? To decompress a file, you type gunzip followed by the file name. For example, to decompress a file named grep example.txt.gz, you do gunzip, gunzip space -k, and then the name of the file. So grep example.txt.gz. Press enter. And it says the grep example.txt already exists. Do you wish to overwrite? We are going to type Y and then enter. So the decompressed file has the gz extension removed from its name now. Now we have the txt, which was the original file, which we decompressed. And there you go. The tar command is our next command. The tar command is used to create and extract archive files, which are collections of multiple files and directories combined into a single file. For example, to create an archive file named archive.tar, T-A-R, containing the files tar example file1.txt and tar example file2.txt, we do this. Let's first create the files, touch tar underscore example underscore file1.txt, and then tar underscore example underscore file2.txt, and then enter. We just created both files, which we can confirm right here. Now what we need to do is let's create the tar file, typing tarcf archive.tar archive.tar, and then tar underscore example underscore file1.txt, and then tar underscore example underscore file2.txt. Enter. Let's do a dir. We can see our archive.tar right there. Let's clear, make everything look clean in the terminal window. Now to remove the files, we do rm and then tar, and then the little asterisk right here will clear out everything. All right. That asterisk means anything that begins with tar underscore example underscore file. All right, which includes those two text files. And we can confirm that because now those text files are no longer there. Okay. Now let's clear it out. To extract the contents of a tar archive, type tar followed by xf options and the archive file name. For example, to extract the contents of an archive named archive.tar, type tar xf archive.tar. Okay, you just extracted it. The files and directories will be extracted into the current directory. There we go. We got them back right here. clear it out. The xargs command is used to build and execute commands from standard input. A common use case for xargs is to pass the output of one command as arguments to another command. Let's create a test environment for this command. So we are going to type mkdir xargs underscore test, the ampersands, and then let's type cd xargs underscore test. All right, now we're inside the folder that we just created. Let's add some files. We're going to do touch, file1.txt, file2.txt, file3.txt. Use xargs to list the file contents. So type echo, and then file1.txt, and then file2.txt, and then file3.txt, and then the pipe symbol, and then xargs, and then cat. All right. Now let's add content to the file. So let's do echo, hello, file1.txt, echo, world, file2.txt, and then echo, xargs, file3.txt, and then enter. So let's run that command we did earlier. I'm going to press the up button to get that command so I don't have to rewrite it. And we can see it's echo, file1.txt, file2.txt, file3.txt, the pipe symbol, and then xargs cat. Remember, earlier we got absolutely nothing when we ran the command. Let's see what we get now. Hello, world xargs. And now we can see the output. This basic demonstration shows how xargs takes input from one command and uses it as arguments for another. Now let's go back to the previous directory using cd and then ... And let's clear everything out. Moving on to the next command, we are going to use the ln command. The ln command is used to create links between files. There are two types of links, hard links and symbolic links or soft links. To create a symbolic link, type ln with the S option, the S flag, followed by the source file and the link name. For example, let's type touch symbolic link example.txt to create a new file, and let's type ln s symbolic, our text file there, and then my test link. All right, so the symbolic link, my test link, will point to symbolic link example.txt. So when you access my test link, it will redirect you to the contents of symbolic link example.txt. Symbolic links can point to files or directories on different file systems, and they will continue to work even if the source file is moved or deleted. Now let's test this symbolic link by adding some text to the original file. Let's do that now. Echo, hello, world, exclamation, forward arrow, symbolic, enter. Let's cat that. Hello world. There we go. Symbolic links. Let's clear everything out. The sed command. The sed command is used to modify text in a file or input stream. You can use sed to replace occurrences of a word or a phrase with another. So we are inside the Documents Linux tutorial directory, and I am going to type echo. The old world is here. another old word. Sorry, not world, word. Word is there. All right, and then let's output that to a text file called test.txt. Press enter. Now let's cat it. The old world is here. Another old word is there. The old word is here. Another old word is there. Okay. So let's now use the sed command to do a replacement of text. So sed, and then we do space, and then I, and then open our single parentheses right there. We type that, and then let's type S, old word, and then we want to replace it with new word, and then G, single quote, and then test.txt, enter, and now do a cat test.txt, and you can see we replace every instance of old word with new word. Every instance of old word with new word right there. That's the syntax, that S in the front and G at the end. That's how you find and replace there with the sed command, S-E-D-I, and then this old word with the new word. Find and replace, just right there. Clear it out. Now, how do you execute commands with super user privileges? We use the sudo command. You may have had experience with that before. We definitely used it in an earlier lesson, but let's look at it again. The sudo command. The sudo command is used to execute commands with root privileges. To execute a command with super user privileges, type sudo followed by the command. For example, to update the package list on Ubuntu, you type sudo apt-get update. You've done that one before when you installed ROS2. And there we go, we updated. We use the sudo command right there. Now, moving to the next command, changing the user password with passwd. The passwd command is used to change a user's password. To change your own password, simply type passwd. And you see, you type in your current password, and then you enter in your new password. And that's it. I'm not going to enter a new password right now. I'm just going to press Control. Just quit out of this. Terminal window. Let's just close it. Yeah. All right. Let's open up a new terminal window here. So now, to demonstrate the use of chown, chown, we need to create a test file. And what is chown? Chown is how you modify file ownership. And let's do that now. Let's move back to our CD documents Linux tutorial. We're in here. All right, and let's create a new text file, touch chown example.txt. Okay, and where it is, okay, it's right there, chown example.txt. And let's see the current owner of the file by doing ls space -l chown. You see the current owner of the file. Okay, and to change the owner of a file, you use chown followed by the new owner and the file name. So let's do that right now. Let's do sudo chown and then root and then chown example.txt. You'll be prompted for a password. Type it in. Okay. And let's take a look at that ls command again. And now you can see we've got a new owner, Ubuntu to root. Pretty cool, huh? We just changed file ownership. So That brings us to the end of this tutorial. We have learned many important Linux commands for robotics in this tutorial. You do not need to memorize these. You'll use them again and again and again. And eventually, you will get to a point where you know these commands by heart. You're going to use them all the time. Whether you're working with ROS2, whether you're doing computer vision, whether you're working with embedded systems, you're going to use these all the time. So I hope this guide helps you feel more confident using Linux. And remember, all great roboticists started as beginners too. So keep practicing, stay curious, and enjoy your robotics journey. Keep building.